If you've been following this channel, then you are really happy because we have been keeping track of the cannabis sector and cannabis stocks have finally popped off as it appears Trump is going to be rescheduling the plant. But if you're just now tuning in, is it too late to invest in the cannabis sector? Are any of these companies worth the investment, or are they now overvalued after popping off so much last week? In this video, I'm looking at the two best stocks in the cannabis sector and deciding how I'm going to be investing my money going forward. First, let's look at the news. Trump expected to sign executive order to reclassify marijuana as soon as Monday, sources tell CNBC. Pot stocks surged. Hey, what's up, guys? This is Brian on December 19th from the future. So Trump did, in fact, reschedule marijuana yesterday on December 18th. So all of the implications in this video where I'm talking about rescheduling being an uncertainty, but very likely, just note that it did in fact happen, and now all those implications are going to be coming to pass. So very exciting, very good news. Back to the video. This is on Friday at 8 a.m. And on that day, if I go to the MSOS, this is the US Cannabis ETF. This represents all of US cannabis. This stock alone went up 54% in one day. Hey guys, this is Future Brian again. I wanted to take a quick moment to discuss the price action that we saw. So whenever the rumor leaked, the price went way up, like I just talked about, 55%. And then as the anticipation was building throughout the week, the price continued to go up as people started discussing other possibilities that might happen, that people thought Trump might push for safe banking, or push for uplisting, or start a descheduling commission. All kinds of speculation started percolating through the rumors and the news, and the price continued to rise. And then on the actual day when we had just rescheduling, the price actually dropped back down to roughly the level of the initial pop. I believe it went up to $5.80 or so. Pre-market today, it's sitting at $5.20. So just keep that in mind. And then as a long-term investor, I'm not really concerned with the price fluctuations of the cannabis ETF. As we were going to go on to see in this video, I am much more focused on the intrinsic value of the top companies in this sector. Okay, back to the video. Now, if I go back to the 5-year look, back in 2024, when we had a similar surge, people thought that Biden was going to be rescheduling the plant. And if he won the election in 2024, that he would go on to do that very quickly. The stocks surged as high as $10, $11 at that time. So one way to look at this is that we could see MSOS returning to $11 per share and beyond based on the past price action. But that is not how I do things. I like to invest in individual companies, and I like to use a discounted future free cash flow model to see what is the actual intrinsic value of these companies. And in my opinion, the strongest US multi-state operator is Green Thumb. Now here is the Morningstar Analyst Equity report on Green Thumb Industries. And right here, they go into the latest surge. Cannabis stock surge as President Donald Trump is expected to issue executive order to reschedule. That happened on December 11th. Okay, why it matters. Schedule 1 status under the U.S. Controlled Substances Act deemed cannabis as having high potential for abuse and no medical use, leading it to have higher taxes. We're going to get into this. So right here, cannabis companies have suffered because of price compression, illicit competition, hemp-derived alternatives, and THC beverages. One by one here. So price compression. The price compression happens because they're competing with themselves and they're competing with illicit competition. This is going to go away to some extent as barriers are coming down. Taxes are going down, which means that cannabis companies can be more profitable with the same prices and they can be able to compete a little bit easier with the illicit market. Hemp-derived products, these are going away as the US has issued a ban starting in 1 year, roughly 1 year from today. So those competitions are starting to go away. Rescheduling would not automatically legalize cannabis nationally, but rather remove the discrepancy between the federal and state laws. It remains unclear whether interstate trade would be allowed. So the bottom line, Morningstar is saying this does not affect their value for Curaleaf, Green Thumb, or Tilray. These are the big three because their forecast already included the easing of U.S. federal prohibition. So Morningstar analysts, they saw this coming. They've already been valuing these companies as if this 280E tax is going away. That's how I have been valuing Green Thumb and why I've been investing in Green Thumb leading up to this event. So let's look at Green Thumb Industries specifically. So on Friday, Green Thumb also went up 51%. It's up to $9.70. So when I'm looking at investing in this company, I'm not just going back 5 years and saying, oh, it was at $14.52 before, maybe it can get back there. No, what I'm doing is I'm using a discounted future free cash flow method of calculating the intrinsic value based on the new tax environment. So how am I doing that? Let me go to my spreadsheet. This is my automated free cash flow spreadsheet where I make these calculations. First, we have to look at their free cash flow margin. So in the past, their free cash flow margin has been about 1.75 on average. However, it has recently been trending up, and that's going to trend up even more as the company has to pay less in taxes. So first things first, let's look at their tax bill. If I go to the trailing 12 months and I scroll down to their pre-tax income, this company made $180 million and they paid $133 million in taxes. So this tax is based on their gross profit. They have to pay 21% of gross profit because with 280E being a Schedule 1 drug, they're not allowed to deduct any of these business expenses, none of the selling, general, and admin expenses, no operating expenses. So they're paying taxes on gross profit instead of income, like most companies. So instead of paying 21% of that big number up there, now they only have to pay 21% of this number right here, which is going to dramatically increase their profits. So I've made that calculation on my spreadsheet right down here based on the current taxes and the future projected taxes, what their free cash flow margin is projected to be. So in 2023, if they didn't have to pay the extra tax, they would have had 11% margin. In 2024, they would have had a 16.5% margin. Over the trailing 12 months, they would have had an 18% margin. So we can see their margins are increasing, but for the sake of being conservative, I'm going to use an average free cash flow margin over these 3 years of 15%. So that's where I'm getting this free cash flow margin right here, 15. Now, in terms of revenue growth going forward, Morningstar equity analysts do project their future outlook down here. Let me scroll down a bit. Revenue growth over the next 5 years, Morningstar equity analysts report 4% revenue growth per year on average for the next 5 years. That's where I'm getting that number. When I look at their projected free cash flow increase, we see in 2024, they had about 9.9% free cash flow margin to the firm. Morningstar is projecting an average of 13.8% free cash flow margin to the firm going forward. So Morningstar is showing their free cash flow margins going up as well. With these assumptions in mind, 4% growth for the next 5 years, 3% growth for years 6 through 10, 3% for perpetuity. That gives me a projected intrinsic value of $13.32, which represents a 37% upside. So for me, a 37% buffer, that's pretty solid. I am going to continue to invest in Green Thumb until they start approaching this $13 threshold. At that point, I would consider this company to be fairly valued and no longer representing a big, deep value play. One other thing to note is that this company does have future big catalysts that are not related to its intrinsic value. These are catalysts that get people to invest in the company based on emotion, based off big news. And those catalysts would be number one, when Trump actually does put pen to paper and issue the executive order. Number two would be safer banking, because right now, banks that operate across multiple states do not touch cannabis because it's federal prohibition. And then number three would be the eventual uplisting. So right now, Green Thumb trades over the counter. They're not on the New York Stock Exchange. They're not on the NASDAQ. Once they're able to uplist to these major stock exchanges, then we will see more volume, more people trading these stocks, more catalysts for this company to pop in the short term. So what I see when I look at Green Thumb is I still see a upside in terms of intrinsic value, and I still see potential catalysts in the future for big gains. So I still like Green Thumb at these prices. But the next company, if you want a more conservative approach to investing in cannabis, is New Lake Capital Partners. Over the last 5 days, this company has only increased by 8.8%. So this company has not seen the same massive pop that other cannabis companies have, because this company is a real estate investment trust. They lease properties to cannabis companies. So this company, New Lake, does not directly get better tax treatment. They don't directly get more revenue because of cannabis easing restrictions, but they get less risk. The companies that they lease to are now in a better financial position, which means their dividend is now much safer. Their current dividend is 12.65%. Before this Friday, it was closer to 13.65. So we've got a little bit of a smaller dividend now because of this recent pop, but this company still represents a massive upside. Let's look at free cash flow. Because New Lake Capital Partners is a REIT, a real estate investment trust, they do not have free cash flow. What they have is funds from operation. This is the equivalent for REITs, funds from operation and adjusted funds from operation. So in this case, about 84% of all revenue is counted as funds from operation. This is the amount of money that can go into paying out a dividend. So that is the number that I am most concerned with. So going forward with New Lake Capital Partners, if I put in a funds from operation of 75%, just to be a little bit conservative, and then they have revenue growth of 2% per year. This is built into their triple net leases with their customers. They automatically get 2 to 3% increase in rents every single year. So if I assume the lower end, if I assume 2% increases and they don't pick up any new land, any new customers, any new tenants, I should say, they just grow at 2% going forward with 75% funds from operation, that would put my fair share price at about $30 per share. So New Lake Capital Partners is still drastically undervalued as it is sitting at $13.60. So for less of a potential pop-off, but a much safer company. This company is so undervalued. They have so much cash flow and they have zero debt. When I go to their balance sheet and I go to their total cash and equivalents, they have $23.5 million just in cash alone. And when I go down to their total debt, they only have $7.6 million in debt. So they have plenty of cash to cover all their debt and they make enough cash from their operations to cover their dividend quite safely. The way I can see how safe their dividend is in 2024, I can see that their dividend per share was $1.70. Their adjusted funds from operation was $2.08. So they have plenty of coverage to pay their dividend. All of the companies that they have as tenants have now just gotten much safer, much more secure. That makes their dividend that much more safer. So for a strong dividend play, I am investing in New Lake Capital Partners as well. If you are a value investor who wants to learn how to use the discounted future free cash flow model to find deep value stocks, check out my live series where I invest in a different company every week in my public YouTube portfolio series. Currently, we are beating the S&P 500. Hopefully we can keep that up, and I hope to see you there.